this week we go in search of a witch's grave. Hi everybody, we're in Burslem, Staffordshire, England today, at the site of Molly Leigh's grave. She was born in 1685 and she was accused of being a witch, and we'll look into it in a bit more detail in a minute, but it's kind of a fascinating thing that basically she was just a loner who lived on the edge of town. She had a pet blackbird who sort of, used to sit on her shoulder, and that, according to the legend, and she sold milk to the townsfolk. But it's fascinating to look at that as a sort of time capsule, as basically that's all she did, and she was accused of being a witch. And just to add to the sort of, that was very serendipitous, I don't know if you heard that on camera, a bird crowing, but Reverend Spencer was one of the first people accused of being a witch. He used to go to the Turk's Head pub, and apparently he said that a bird landed there and was watching him sort of drink and stuff. It made the beer go sour, which just shows the sort of craziness of how people used to think that, like, I've never had a beer going sour full stop, anywhere ever basically. It's almost like, this drink was indestructible. And she actually died before she was even properly tried for being a witch, which again just adds this kind of, just the sort of how she was so up against it, and the fact that they even exhumed a grave, and this is such the actions of a sociopath. They buried her live pet crow in a grave, reburied her, and turned the angle of the grave around. That's just such a ridiculous thing. The more you look at it, it's crazy. One of the other most amazing things about the Molly Leigh story is the mythology surrounding it. Apparently there's a local, again a myth, that along the streets of Burslem at night, Molly Leigh will walk around, her ghost will be there, a spectral presence, apologising for her sins, which is crazy on two counts. A, there's no such thing as ghosts, and what sins exactly would she be apologising for? The fact that she was alone, who kept herself to herself, sold a bit of milk and had a pet bird. I don't remember any of those in the Ten Commandments, and I'm not sure if that's an apple tree over there. But either way, another great story that was allegedly told to kids was, if you run around the grave 3 times shouting, "Molly Leigh, Molly Leigh, chase me around the apple tree," she will rise from the grave and get you. Which actually sounds kind of cool, but I'm not doing it for 2 reasons, well actually 3. It's a little bit disrespectful, and I've already ate out-of-date Transformer spaghetti and used a Ouija board. It's kind of tempting fate, but actually it does sound kind of cool. Just in closing, I thought it might be interesting just to do a personal story of mine, but when I very first heard about the legend of Molly Leigh, it was in the early 90s, 91, 92, and I walked through, it was like November time, it was about 6 o'clock at night, 6:30, it was like really dark, so even when it wasn't like midnight, it was like pretty much pitch black, apart from like the street lights and things. And I was walking through here, and literally as I just got parallel with Molly Leigh's grave, one of the shutters banged, and it had a really, really scared me, and I just ran out of here as fast as I could. And like I say, it was mostly because I had, my stupid idiot brain. But later that night, I had it's mostly just, I almost regret having this nightmare now, because it had fuel to the fire of all these ridiculous myths and legends and things. But I had the most intense nightmare I'd ever had. I just woke up bolt upright. I might have been sweating a little bit. I was in my parents' house, I fell asleep in the living room, and it was about like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was just really, I had this vision of Molly Leigh chasing me, and it was just really intense and really scary. But yeah, there's my story, and thanks for watching everybody.